He said,
All right, guys, we are on Facebook Live. On 3, I want you guys to say, woo! 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right. All right, the floor is all yours, Stephen.
All right, so how many of you guys in here know what this is? All right, we got some people. Some people. Okay, so some new people and some people who don't know what it is. So for those of you who don't know what this is an application that I created. How many of you guys know what the IML Harmonic Scanner is?
yes.
Okay, so a mix. Okay, so the premise of this software is kind of like IML's Harmonic Scanner, but kind of like is where it ends, right? So IML's Harmonic Scanner uses purely harmonics, and that's it. So this is a software where I have algorithms that scan the Forex markets. They analyze the markets all day long. So as long as the Forex markets are open, this thing's going to scan them. And what it's going to do is it's going to find high probability setups, right? So you guys are probably familiar with signals, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So rather than give you signals, it'll give you a high probability entry point, okay? And the entry point is to say, okay, look at a potential buy here. The easiest way that I can describe this to you is this analogy, right? You mean to stand this way?
Oh, you just go wherever.
Okay. So this is the best analogy I can give you. Anybody can go buy a gun, right?
Yes.
Anybody can go buy a gun and you can try to shoot it. Doesn't mean you're going to be good at shooting it. Doesn't mean you know where to shoot it. But you can at least go buy a gun and shoot it, right? Yeah. When you start trading in the financial markets, in the Forex markets, it's kind of like getting a gun and you're just shooting aimlessly. So the web analyzer is kind of like this magic scope you can stick on your gun and it says, look here. So the missing piece to whether or not you should pull that trigger is the strategies we create. So I've created a couple of strategies for people, and then we have a whole community. Brandon and I were talking about it earlier. We have a whole community now that's reached 10,000 in less than a month. Out of that 10,000, we've got over a dozen strategies from community members. What are the strategies for? They're to tell you whether or not you should pull the trigger, not pull the trigger at all, wait to pull the trigger, etc. So in Forex terms, that's to decide your stop loss and your take profit, right? So in a signal, a traditional signal, you're going to have which pair, the time frame you're trading on, your entry price, the time that it was called, right? Which you're missing the stop loss and take profit numbers. So that's what the strategies do. The reason we did it this way is psychological effect. If you guys have been in this niche long enough, you know that signal callers are a dime a dozen. Forex education is a dime a dozen. It's hard to find a good signal caller that consistently makes you money. And it's really hard to find some good education that actually gets you trading profitably, right? So I have a pretty good tech background. I've worked for a lot of enterprise IT companies. I've been programming since I was in elementary school. I was just telling these guys about the story. So I started programming because I was in 5th grade and I had a crush on a girl and I made her a birthday cake website. That was my journey into programming, and I just never stopped. I just learned from there. So I used those tech skills after interacting with literally thousands of traders in various forms, whether it be in Facebook groups, Telegram channels, etc., right? I figured out people have problems with finding the entry points, but they don't necessarily need the stop loss and take profit. In fact, when you force people to take accountability for deciding their own take profit and stop loss, all of a sudden they magically start winning more. Why do you think that is? Anybody can raise their hand and you can give me your guess. All right, that's a good guess. Anybody else want to take a shot at it? No? Okay, so the magic psychological effect is rather than being able to blame the signal caller or blame the educator or the education, it's all on you. You've got to decide it, which means every trade you take on this platform, you've got to learn a little bit. And believe it or not, it's not actually that hard. We've got 10,000 people. Brandon can vouch for me. You guys can actually go see this yourselves because it's a public group. We literally have people posting every single day that they're winning. Now, does everybody win? No. Well, I don't know. But we have some people who don't win and they come and we help them. The whole community will swarm the post and answer all the questions. So we love people who lose because we like to turn them into winners. So that's pretty much the basis of the software, a quick intro to it. What's questions? Come on, you guys don't have questions?
Is the website still up?
Hey, hold on. Is this the guy that did $44 and a $7,000 in a couple of weeks? You guys would want to see, like,
Oh no! That's him.
This guy is like here in the flesh. You were on Facebook Live, Sacramento Reyes. So get this guy. When you guys come to Vegas, get his autograph.
I need your autograph before you leave. So, questions, guys? Who here is confused about anything I'm saying? It's okay.
Not confusion, but what shoot, I forgot the word. What indicators does the web analyzer use?
Right. So you can use several different indicators. The default ones that we've got up are the RSI and the MACD. So RSI is super standard. You're going to find it on almost every trading platform you can possibly imagine. It's used all over. And then the MACD is the same thing, pretty much. I can explain to you technically how the algorithms work, but I doubt most of you care. The basic premise is when the RSI line is close to here, it's buyer territory. Up here, seller territory. So let me see if I can make
So like above 70, right?
Above 70, yeah. Now, I'll tell you a secret about RSI. This is not a ceiling, and this is not a floor. Let me tell you why. RSI, this number right here, all this algorithm does is says how many candles of this number were buy or sell candles, and then it oscillates up and down based off of that. So you can hit the ceiling, but still go up, because it's not actually a ceiling. Because all these candles have to do is get bigger and bigger and bigger. It doesn't account for price. If that sounds confusing, just remember this is not a ceiling. If it's up here, it can still go up. This is not a floor. If it's down here, it can still go down. But when it is in these zones, what you're trying to do when you trade with the web analyzer or any strategy is use what we call multiple forms of confluence. What that means is you want to find multiple forms of things that match up together so that you can take your trade and have the highest probability. Now the web analyzer gives you the highest probability entry point. Then you can use the strategies, which consist of different indicators usually, or different things you're going to see on the chart, right? So that was actually a good question to mention indicators. So let's say you have, this is old, so this is 40 minutes, but let's say you have the USD sell, right? So you're nowhere near buyer territory. And this, so for the MACD, a quick explanation is these two lines tell you about momentum in the markets. This is supposed to tell you about volume, but it doesn't always work well. So how people usually use this is crossovers. When it's up here, this is a sell crossover. When it's down here like this and the blue line is crossing up above the red, that'd be a buy crossover, right? So if this was a sell, for some strategies, and we have over a dozen different strategies, you'd want to see this up here and this crossing down like this, but you'd want to see that here when the trade is called. So if this is local time would be, or I guess we have 131, we'd have 131.
So you have the Euro USD up currently?
Oh yeah. $131 right in here. It's right in this area. So this, there's no crossover going down. So for some strategies, you would automatically not take this, you'd wait, right? Because this blue line doesn't cross down below the red. This also is nowhere near 70. So for some strategies, you would completely skip this trade, or you'd wait. Like I was saying with the gun. You'd hold it up, you'd say, okay, it's saying look here, right? But you're not gonna pull the trigger yet, or you're just gonna put the gun down and not even do it at all. So that's some strategies. Other strategies use this Bollinger Band. So there's a strategy that's really popular that uses a Bollinger Band, and it wants to see around when the trade is called touching the Bollinger Band. So that's actually one check that would work for one of these strategies. And then they'll do a whole host of different things. So the goal with this software is take the hard work out. When you're new to trading, you can either A, have somebody do all the work for you like a signal, but then you don't really learn. B, go learn, right? And if any of you have gone through IML Academy, it's cool, super helpful, lots of knowledge, but it's daunting for most people to try to learn how to chart, how to find setups, and it's even worse when you try and you lose. People get discouraged easily. So the goal with this software is to take all that work out, find you the setups, and then all you've got to do is quickly analyze with a quick strategy, get your numbers, punch them into your trading software, and boom, you win or you lose. With most of our strategies, we've got about above 80% win rates.
So, Steve, I got a question. This is based upon questions people ask.
Sure.
When they see, because a lot of people are used to Harmonic Scanner, entry, take profit, stop loss.
Yeah.
When you see potential sell, potential buy, and stuff like that, can you give just kind of layman's terms example as to what exactly does that mean for
Right.
the newest guy?
So a potential sell, you've got two different options when you're trading in the markets, right? Two options, buy or sell. Is the market going to go up or is it going to go down? The way I like to explain this is nobody knows what the market's really going to do, but you can take an educated guess, right? You can arm yourself with tools, education, indicators, whatever you like, right? So when it says potential sell, it's saying, hey, come move that scope over and look for a sell right here in the market. So the asset you're looking for a potential sell on is USD CAD. That's the US dollar and the Canadian dollar. The time frame is telling you this setup was spotted on the 5-minute time frame. Now, on every trading platform, you've got multiple time frames you can trade on. This is time-based trading. Okay, so you can go all the way from the minute all the way up to like the monthly chart. Now, what that means is you're watching the US economy pitted against the Canadian economy moving by the minute or the 5-minute. You're literally watching a world economy go up and down against each other. So, all you have to worry about is that this is the pair. And what you want to worry about is, am I buying or am I selling? This is the price it called it at, so you'd go find it. It's right around here. And then you'd want to figure out your stop loss and your take profit. Now, your stop loss is where you say, look, if the market comes to this point, just take me out of the trade. I want to take my loss no more. It's like saying uncle or raising the white flag. You want to be done, right? You take your loss, you go. Your target, so you take profit, that's where you're saying, I think it's going to go here, okay? I think the market's going to rise to this point, and when it does, take my profits, exit the trade, I win, okay? So that's what these two things are. When you click this link, it'll give you a whole list of videos of everybody's different strategies that we do. And then, of course, you've got the time it was called, the local time, and how many minutes passed, right?
And some people don't know that we have Telegram alerts that will come through for people that want to get these, throughout the day. So what I'd like to kind of see is what does that look like? How often those things coming in. And then number two would be just some of the different strategy videos that people have, because people are using the software, they are creating their own strategies. Yeah. So without people having to try and figure it out on their own, there's strategies that are already working. Yeah. Right now, we've got them in here and inside the app. They can click on this strategy, this strategy, this strategy, and people, they figured it out, created their own thing, and they're coming in every day, boom, 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 and profiting, doing a lot of that groundwork for you.
And for those of you who are wondering, why do we have so many strategies, why not just one? Well, for one, I created the software to be dynamic, so that you can be creative with it. Because like I was saying, I want you to take accountability for your own trades, and there's this, like I said, there's this miraculous thing that happens in your brain when you're forced to do that. But also, there's a dozen different strategies, because everybody likes to trade different. Some people like to be risky, and some people don't. Some people, risk scares them. So some of these strategies are super selective. There's one that's really popular where this thing can produce anywhere from 30 to 70 setups a day. He won't take more than 1 or 2 a day in his strategy. He'll go through all these different checks. He'll take 1 or 2, and then per those 1 or 2, he'll maybe open up 2 or 3 trades each. There's other people that will just jump right into every single trade, every single one. They'll figure out all their targets and risks on the fly. So you can see, depending on who you are and what you like, there's something for everybody here. And that's the goal, to give a product en masse to people who have no idea what they're doing. Or if you do know what you're doing, now it's going to save you a lot of time. Because now you're taking all the chart work out, and literally, if you've been trading profitably for any amount of time, you know how much work it takes to go find your setups. You can spend hours every Sunday or whenever you choose to chart. It can get annoying. Questions?
Is it usually always on the 5-minute?
No. Well, the 5 minutes is the most produced, because on the 5-minute, that's when you're going to see the market move a lot. So it'll produce a lot of them, but you'll see plenty of 15-minute setups. The hourly setups are pretty rare. They don't pop up so often. More questions?
Is there a difference between a red box and a green box?
Yes. So red box is sell, green box is buy. Pretty simple, right? Color-coded.
So, one of the questions people have, a lot of people, especially a lot of these people in here and people watching on Facebook Live, they use the Harmonic Scanner. Can you use the Harmonic Scanner in tandem with this product and be successful with it?
I've been told yes. We don't have a video yet, but somebody's making a video on a strategy to use them both at the same time. What they do, just to give you kind of an idea before they release the video, is they'll look at the Harmonic Scanner and it'll produce a setup, and then they'll go look at the web analyzer and say, do they match? Kind of using them like indicators, right? Like I mentioned earlier, you've got forms of confluence. The more things you can get to line up, the higher the probability of the trade, which is what you want. Because nobody wants to lose, right? We don't come here to lose, we come here to win. So I saw you had a question, right?
Yeah, I did. With so many indicators up there, I mean, I know, like you said, that indicators are like left and right punches for traders, you know. So with so many indications, what would you say would be the best ones for us to use, or would you just say just wait for the indication to hit a certain spot?
100% depends on the strategy. Some strategies will have you use just the Bollinger Bands. Some will have you use all three, right? The Bollinger Bands, which is this, this blue outline in the background of this chart, and then the RSI, and then the MACD. Don't let the names confuse you. We have videos that explain what the heck are these things, what do you do with them, what are you looking at, right? So it's pretty easy. More questions?
You personally depend more on the Bollinger Bands, RSI, or the MACD?
I'm a big fan of Bollinger Bands and MACD. I'm a big fan of Bollinger Bands because there's a lot of secrets you can use them for. Their primary thing is gauging volatility in the markets. So when they squeeze like this is usually an indication that the markets aren't moving very high. When they open up like this is usually volume has poured into the market, and you can see that right here.
Yeah.
So you see this is called a Bollinger Squeeze, where it expands. You can see the volume poured in the market. You can see right here when it expanded, volume poured in the market. Then you can see when it was tiny, very little volume, right? Same thing here. Starts to get smaller, volume's decreasing.
So like right now, since it's not even New York, so pretty much tomorrow morning, they'll start to expand.
Right, so you would go look at a JPY pair right now.
Yeah.
Because we're in Asia session.
Yep.
Exactly. Questions?
As well, those on Facebook Live, you guys can ask questions on here too.
Yeah.
So pretty much it goes with the sessions, right?
Yeah.
Because sessions pretty much what makes the market move.
Right, so this will analyze all day long, but the pairs you're going to see the most setups called on are whichever session's moving.
Right now.
So in Forex, for those of you who don't know what a session is, Forex is decentralized. It's not like the stock market where you have the NYSE, the NASDAQ, everything centralized, all the data comes to one place. Forex doesn't work like that. Forex is a $5.3 trillion market. It's global. So it's made up of foreign currencies, which is this Euro USD, Euro JPY. It's the foreign currencies of different countries paired together, right? So during different times of the day, and we'll go off the US example, right, because we're all here in the US. During the morning time, and we're talking like early morning, like 5, 6, 7 a.m., you start to get New York session opening. That's when Wall Street wakes up and they say, okay, we're ready to go, we're going to smash the markets, take a bunch of people's money, etc., right? And right before New York session opens, you've actually got London in control of the markets. And that's what we call London session. It's during the middle of the night for the USA, okay? And then after New York session closes, which is 5 p.m. Eastern, you start getting these little sessions that no one really likes that open up. And then around evening time for us, you get Asia session, which is actually what we're in right now. We're approaching Asia session. And then right after Asia session, you get London session. So the reason this works this way is because every major country, like Asia, Australia, Europe, so the UK, London, China, New Zealand, and a bunch of others have exchanges. So exchanges are where all the data and all the trades and everything flows through. You trade through your broker, but the exchange is where everything flows through. The exchanges are what makes Forex 24/7, able to trade 24/7. The exchange of the NYSE or the NASDAQ, they close every day at like 5 p.m. So that's why you can't trade anymore. There's no exchanges open. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Stephen, a question came on Facebook Live. Will the web analyzer focus on the most active pairs per session?
Yes. The web analyzer is designed to scan all the markets all the time. Its core of its algorithm, without giving away too many secrets, is volume. it's looking for volume spikes and it runs a whole bunch more code.
Tell us what's coming on the web analyzer. A lot of people talked about what's on the phone. People are excited about cryptocurrency, all that kind of stuff. Tell us what's coming down the pipe for this product.
Chris has me designing what we call the crypto analyzer, or the crypto scanner, whichever one he chooses. So for those of you who don't know, our CEO is Chris Terry, CEO of iMarketsLive, phenomenal guy, truly awesome trader. And we're working on what we call the crypto analyzer, so it'll look just like this, but it'll be for Bitcoin, Ethereum, Dogecoin, Dash, all the different coins that you can trade. And those will be facilitated by a broker like JAFX or FX Choice or whichever broker you choose. Because iMarketsLive is not affiliated with any broker. You're allowed to choose whoever you want. MarketsLive doesn't take your money. You give the money to the broker, etc.
And then as far as the ability to try and use this product, from the phone and stuff like that, what are you working on right now?
So, either the end of this year or the beginning of next year, whenever Chris decides, we'll be releasing a phone application. So we'll be releasing the Web Analyzer phone app for iPhone and Android. What I've got it designed for right now is you'll have, of course, the Web Analyzer for mobile, right? And currently you can view this website on your phone, so it's completely usable.
Hold on a second. Are you saying that there's going to be an app like Swipe Trades?
There will be.
For the Web Analyzer?
There will be. What? We'll have it, and we'll have the Web Analyzer. We'll have it so that you can go directly to Forex Factory to check your red folder news. You'll have notifications, updates, all the videos and everything. Basically everything's centralized and easy to use.
That's awesome. Okay, so it says I see a lot of videos online with strategies that have lopsided risk, to reward ratios such as 15 pip stop loss, 5 pip take profit. Yeah. How does this work in reality?
Well, to tell you the truth, I have paid well over 10 grand in education for the Forex markets, and it is absolutely frustrating to me that one of the most popular strategies is a 5 pip take profit and a 15 to 20 pip stop loss. Now, why is this frustrating? When you pay a lot of money for Forex education, one of the first things they try to teach you about is risk management. So you can imagine that if you're doing a 15 pip stop loss and a 5 pip TP, every loss now eats up 3 of your wins. Now, how do you get around this? Web Analyzer has a killer win rate with some of these strategies. So you end up winning more than you lose. Most of these guys that have these strategies down, they don't win or they don't lose more than once or twice a day, and they're constantly winning. Since this produces anywhere from 30 to 80 setups a day, you can imagine that because they're winning so much, those losses don't go. It's frustrating because, like I said, it's not the way you're taught, but it works. So people do it. Other people, they won't do that. So if you decide, you know what, I don't like that, that's fine. We've got other strategies that you can do other things. And how that works, just for those of you who don't know, like I said earlier, you decide your targets and your stop loss with these strategies. You'll punch them into what's called MetaTrader 4 or whichever trading application you choose. You can actually use this on other trading vendors. So you've got CTrader, you've got a whole host of different things out there. Most popular one's MetaTrader 4, but you'll punch those numbers in so that you can make money.
So Stephen, I think one good thing to maybe answer or show, do you know one strategy that some of the different leaders have used, even that's on some of our videos, that you could show as just a simple example to a brand new person, like, hey, this is Lee Allen, this is the strategy she used, or this is so-and-so, the strategy they use. Yeah. I mean, just something generic and simple.
So let's go over this one, right? So USDCAD. The first thing we want that I always look at is the time. What time was this called? 1:31. I think we found that was right around here, right? And then the next thing I look at is the price it was called at. So 28323. Right here, right at the top of this candle. So right here where my mouse is touching. So it's called right here. So you would have very minimal drawdown, and drawdown is if I enter a sell right here means the market's moving against me, right? I did a sell and the market moved up. That's super minimal. Guys, I've been in $2,000 drawdown before. It's nothing. It's nothing.
2,000, I've been 10,000.
Yeah, there you go. My entries are better, that's why.
Yeah, his entry was better.
So you've got minimal drawdown here, and then you see the market move down. Then you see it move back up, then you see here, oh, okay, so we got this one. Let's just go over this one, since it's fresh.
Yeah, they said that they heard the cha-ching on the Facebook Live there.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is look at the time, right? So 2:29, that's now. So this is saying buy. Got it in here, 2:29, right in there. Okay, so on this candle we're currently on. Then we've got the price, 766. Hey, you guys may not even take this. We may filter this one out. Remember, sometimes I said you don't pull the trigger. Okay.
If we take the trade and it doesn't work out, we'll be like, that's a scam. It doesn't work out, it's a scam.
Okay. So on this one of the popular strategies is to look and see if it's touching the Bollinger Band. This is not touching the Bollinger Band. So we want this candle it's called on to be down here. So for one strategy, they would automatically skip this. Next, the RSI. It's not down in buyer territory, right? It's almost in the middle. So that's 2 checks we would not do. So some people who don't use the Bollinger Bands would check the RSI. You still wouldn't take this. Next, you've got the MACD. So for those who take the MACD, we want to see this blue line cross up above the red. Currently, this is not crossed, so you would wait. So if this were to drop down, and this came back down and touched the Bollinger Band, you could consider taking it. Depends on how fast it's going to do that. Right now, it's not doing that. And I'll tell you a secret. This is AUDUSD. This is a US market pair. What session are we in? We talked about this already. We're in Asia session. We don't want to touch this pair anyway. It's not going to move. We'd get trapped in a trade, and it would do nothing. So USD-based pairs, Wall Street's not awake right now. They don't care. They're not going to be trading or pumping money into this. So you get trapped in a little range.
Zach, do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
So pretty much it'll be kind of like a retest, right?
Right.
Coming back down to the market where it was at before and
Yep.
respect to that area.
So this one, based off of multiple different strategies, we'd skip it. And that's great, because then you don't lose money. The goal is to always find the highest probability setups to win money. So, questions? We can go analyze any one of these you want. We're going to try Euro USD.
Yeah, let's try one of the Asian session.
Asian session ones? All right.
Guys,
Guys,
let me tell you something about this product. So I've been here for 2 years. The most testimonials I've seen come through is on swipe trades, like crazy. Usually you have to beg people for like testimonials. Hey man, will you shoot a video? You know, will you send a written testimonial? It's almost like you have to like pay people just to get them to send a testimonial over because they're like, I don't ever get to it. Steven's getting like 10 testimonials a day. Sent to him, posted on the page, like just crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
I've actually started to delete testimonials that aren't good enough. Yeah, you think I'm joking, but I'm not. We have too many now.
Well, now people are coming up with so many different strategies. You have to turn away strategy videos.
So
Only
literally
keep the best ones.
right here. Yeah.
So will it ever be considered to filter those active pairs per session?
So this one you'd be in profit right now. It called it right here. You'd be in profit up here.
No.
Oh, this one was, you know, how long ago? This was USDJPY was 73 minutes. I mean,
How many pips did that go up?
let's find out.
That was about at the beginning of the Asian session.
Yeah, which is common for volume spikes.
Most volatile right there.
Yeah.
So Jerry said, suggestion for Steven should create a text field where the users can copy the time a price was called and the price that was called, so the pointer will exactly show where on the graph they are located.
Tell them to email it to me.
Okay.
It's going in an uptrend.
Jerry, go ahead and email it.
It's not done.
See a W form right there.
It's just doing a small retest.
So we've got 21 bars. That's about 8 pips, give or take. 8 to 10 pips. Yeah. So around this time, we had a MACD crossover, and we also had near the Bollinger. So depending on how loose you are with your Bollinger rules, some people will do it where the wick's close. Some people it's got to be outside. You can watch the video, tell for yourself. So when it called it here, moved up about 8 to 10 pips, had your MACD crossover, and that's for your JPY. So, as you can see, certain pairs are better to trade during different times of the day. So, one thing that a lot of people have found is this software excels, the algorithms excel during ranging markets. Because most of these strategies were created when the markets were ranging, right? So we have some breakout strategies and some strategies that are good for trending markets.
Okay.
One of the secrets to trading is literally every day of the market is going to be different. Sundays, Wall Street doesn't really care very much. They don't want to trade. London's not really caring about trading. They're more flat, quiet days. Mondays, I hate trading them. They can feel so backwards. Some of the time, it's just ridiculous. Mondays can be so ridiculous. I refuse to trade Mondays. Tuesdays is when trends start, cycles start. Money starts pouring in, market normalizes. Wednesday, you'll actually see a small dip in volatility because of session changeovers and exchanges and a whole bunch of complicated things. Thursday, you'll see it pick back up. And then Friday, unless there's news, it's usually pretty good right until about noon. Then it drops off. And that has to do with exchanges. New York, London, New York's closed. Now you're left with the little exchanges that not a lot flows through. So most people like to trade Tuesday through Thursday. This software actually does really well on Mondays, or not on Mondays, on Sundays. Sometimes it does well on Mondays, but I don't like trading on Mondays anyway. It does pretty well on Tuesday through Thursday, so long as you're paying attention to trends. Where people get caught up in this is they'll start getting into a zone. They'll trade, and this sounds foreign, it's okay. We've got lots of education in IML Academy, but basically, a range is when it's going like this. A trend is when it's going up or down, right?
Yeah.
So what happens when you enter a trade and you're expecting it to go up or down, right? You're holding it up or down, then all of a sudden it shoots up and it's a sell. You're in a sell. You're going to lose money, right?
Yes.
So Tuesday through Thursday, a lot of people have their strategies where they won't take any trades against the trend. So if the trend is going up, they won't take any sells. And they win more. Because like I said, the goal is to find the highest probability, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, questions?
Does this look usually gets ready for like events like coming up for like the U.S. like unemployment rate or like for NFP or for
No,
like,
that's up to you to decide. The algorithm does not look at that. I can't tell you how complicated it is to analyze news. There's actually, so I know somebody who's designing an algorithm to read Trump's tweets and place trades. I'll let you know how that goes when he's done with it.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, so I don't. How many of you have seen movies where you see Wall Street and you hear of black box trading or you hear of high frequency trading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like mythical taboo. So I've actually done it. I've got software that does this. It's really cool. It takes trades super fast, but it only works when you've got high volatility in news, right? So when Trump tweets, you make a lot of money because the markets go crazy, it goes wild, and then tons of little trades are taken. So,
Stephen, do you feel that this is a product that your average person that comes in, does a little bit of study, that this is something that they could use and be successful with?
we've had people come in, not study at all and make money. I'm not kidding. You can go to facebook.com/groups/IML Web Analyzer and see everybody post about it. You will literally have people say, I don't know anything about trading, and they're posting their profits. Sometimes I get a little scared, I'm not going to lie. But, you know, so if you want to learn how to trade, we've got IML Academy. We've got IML TV, which I actually think is freaking cool. Because literally, Chris's vision is 24/7. You can get on 24/7 and find somebody teaching.
Yeah, and so who's training now? Lee Allen on IML TV on the Web Analyzer?
Yeah.
She's doing good.
Yeah, so we've got Lee Allen, one of the strategy makers, training on the Web Analyzer, 11 a.m. CST.
Yeah.
Yeah, 11 a.m. CST. So you can go and learn if you want to learn. If you don't want to learn, it's probably your best bet.
Gabriella asks, will we use the same tools to trade cryptocurrency?
Yeah, so you'll use a similar interface, strategies, etc. The only difference is that you'll need to make sure your broker supports cryptocurrency. There's a whole list of them, so don't worry. There's options.
There's Yvonne on here from Quebec, Canada. He said, I want to get in. How can I get in?
You can't.
No.
You can't. You're in Quebec.
Yeah, he's in Quebec.
You're exiled.
You cannot in Quebec.
Quebec doesn't allow any Forex MLM. It's not just iMarketsLive. If you're in Quebec, you cannot be in
Yvonne, you gotta move.
You gotta move, that's right.
Move.
Come to the US.
You'd be losing money. Yeah. He's gotta move. Awesome. Well, guys, give it up for Steven. Give it up for Steven Lewis.